Hello, everyone. Welcome to what is probably the most emotional stream I've ever done. The end of Destiny 2. I will raise a glass to that. Oh, man. I told you guys we would do an end stream, and here we are. Got the end stream. Tower's all decked out, all nice and shiny. I think everything's pretty nice. Honestly, eh, I mean, with Actually, no. Before we go into any of that, congratulations everyone who turned up yesterday and is still turning up today because,
Big numbers.
yeah, big numbers. We surpassed 160,000 the last check for yesterday's numbers. I have not checked today's numbers, but I'm sure they're pretty decent too. Which, considering I also monitor Marathon and I believe yesterday's numbers were like 20,000 or thereabouts. Yeah, significant difference. So if that doesn't send a message to Sony HQ and Marathon or Bungie management, I don't know what will at that point. In the words of Young, yeah, I don't know what will. um, so yeah, I mean things have changed. This is a massive update. We've got a whole monument set. Actually, if you come down here, you can actually see. Kind of give you guys a tour of the renovated tower. We got the four monuments depicting the four tenets of the Guardian's Creed, with the tenet of devotion here. If you can actually show by Justin's camera, he might be able to go
I
on as well.
yeah, I'm showing them.
Actually, very spare Racing League coded. If you go to the end of feature awards, you'll also see the Glyphon and the All-Star Vector, which are two previous awards. One specific to a certain Guardian games from I think 2020ish. I think might be wrong. And then the Glyphon, which was exclusive to the heavy metal. But I guess since we're no longer having any of those, they're just like, here, take them. And you might be wondering, what's with all the Sparrow stuff? Well, Sparrow Racing League is back as part of this big update, the final update. We finally get it back. Yay! I honestly haven't played it yet, but
It took
I
the
imagine it's
end
fun.
of Destiny 2 for Destiny 2 to get a Destiny 1 feature.
To get a Destiny 1 feature. We've been begging for it for years, and we finally get it back. Fun fact, actually, despite being a D1 vet, if you actually come onto my profile when you're done, Justin, you'll actually see that they actually gave out a new emblem, the Old Lights emblem, which seems to have been a gift they give out to people who've, I guess, been around for a while or been around since D1, which I have. So I think it's a very nice emblem. But back onto the topic of D1, full confession, I never actually played Sparrow Racing League when it was a thing in D1. Not that I didn't want to, but I just actually never heard of it back. I was a far less connected man back then, so I completely overlooked the Sparrow Racing League. But
He was much more of a small, humble guardian learning his light before
humble.
he became the warlock he is known now.
Yes, before I was the lore junkie that I am now, I was just the humble magic miser sitting there doing his stuff and not paying attention to what went on. But yeah, they've renovated the whole stuff, and if you actually kind of look around, you'll actually see that they actually brought Ionian models here as well. So it looks like they've actually been updating the general models that can appear in the tower as well. You'll also see that they've updated. They've given Ikor a little bit of a garden feel to it.
Yep.
Oh yeah, and they've added new aspects to not aspects. What was it? Not aspects. It is fragments, I think. No, aspects. Aspects. Yes, they've added new aspects to a ton of the subclasses. I think Void has a new aspect to it. Strand has a new aspect to it. I think Stasis as well has a new aspect to it. Like they added a bunch of nope, not Stasis. Was it Void, Strand, and Arc? Like three new aspects they brought in. I think. Hold on, let me look at Ikora and I can see for myself. Let me see here. I know Strand has a new aspect because that's actually part of the achievements. Yep. That one. That one. Okay, so I think it's Void, Strand, and
Solar got
one
one.
other. Solar got. Oh, okay. You guys got one for Solar then. So I
Yeah.
guess it's different for the classes. So Warlocks got one for Void, and I'm guessing since you guys got one for Solar, my
We got
guess
one
is that
also for
Titans got one
Void.
for Arc. Mm.
Because I think On the Prowl is new. I'm not too sure. I haven't
Is
been
it
here
locked?
technically for like. No, I have it unlocked.
Okay, so if it's unlocked, you probably have it because they were only just introduced.
Okay, then Vanish Step is new then.
Yeah, so
I've got a lot. Well, actually, no, I don't think I have a lot locked for Void anyways. Okay, well, never mind me. Actually, we have one
regardless.
for Void, Solar, Arc, and I'm gonna check Strand. Actually, never mind with Strand. I haven't unlocked much of anything in Strand.
Wow. All these years and he never unlocked Strand. The most fun subclass.
Honestly, I focused on getting one specific build because I looked at everything and just focused on one narrow point for Strand. Because that is the build that I wanted, and that was the build I was gonna get.
Disappointed. So anyways. So we got one more for Light, one more for Stasis, and one more for Strand, according to the readout I have here for Moments of Triumph. So we got 3 new aspects, at least for Warlocks. Might break out a little differently for the other classes. So yeah, that's a bunch of stuff. Lodi is also brought in over here. I have, not spoiler, discretion. I have not done any of the story stuff. Okay, most of the story stuff. If you've been paying attention, you'll also notice the God Sphere is back in the sky, which is something. There's actually a bit of lore as to why that is, and spoiler alert if you're wanting to go in completely blind, this would be the point where I would say just stop paying attention.
Yeah, hop off for a quick second here. Hop off and go over to Ikora, right over there, right now.
Ikora, because she's the one who will tell you, yes. Spoiler, the only one I will give you today, because I literally do not have any other lore for what's going on before, is that the Traveler just kind of came back down from space after the whole Witness bit. And you know how 3 kind of screwed up the planet by dying? Well, it turns out that all of it is reversing and stopping as a result of the Traveler's presence. We're not sure if it's a permanent fix or a temporary fix, but yeah, it's fixing itself because the sphere has come down again. So that's nice.
The gardener cares.
The gardener cares, which is good to see. So, yeah, that's a thing. I will not spoil any more story because, frankly, I have not done any of the more story beyond that. I will say, however, there's a bunch of lore that they put in for this massive final season in the armor, in that you can get from the monuments, in the weapon that we have for the final season pass, which you can actually see if Justin goes over to his rewards pass, the Season of Triumph, which never expires.
There is no expiry date on any of this.
Which is a good thing, because there's some really good stuff they got here. They got some Lucent armor, which is really like Hive-themed. There's a regular armor that you can get from the monuments, which is Hive-themed. There's Vex armor that they got in the monuments, which is also heavy Vex-themed. There's a bunch of crazy stuff. There's Fallen armor. It's like a bunch of cool stuff. Witch Queen's crown at the very end. It's nuts. Again, I won't spoil any more story beyond that because I'll leave you to read that for yourself. Why spoil the only lasting thing we will finally get out of Destiny? Though, who knows? Maybe we'll get a few more updates as time goes on. I mean, they say they will never do, but I mean, in fairness, so did CD Projekt Red with Cyberpunk. But then again, CD Projekt also gives a lot more of a shit than Bungie management does when it comes to Cyberpunk. So who knows? Who knows? But yeah, as far as things stand, that is currently where we are with Destiny. Oh yes, and if Justin's going down to the Drifter also got a massive refresh. Whole bunch of stuff for Gambit. It only took the end of the game. It only took the very end of the game for them to pay attention to the Drifter.
It only took the death of the world for the world to be saved.
That feels like there's some twisted poetry in there. So if you come over to Drifter, you'll see a whole new bunch of rewards, all fresh that you can get. Some focusing armor. They got a whole new bunch of armors.
And Drifter's model is also different.
Yes, for those who aren't aware, they changed him after, I believe, Edge of Fate to represent his now older, grizzled appearance after being blasted by whatever energy the Nine use. Let's call it null energy for the sake of not having an official name for it. That aged him physically, so he's had his model updated to represent his new, more weathered appearance. If anything, it just more represents what he truly is, because he is canonically, like, very old. Like, older than probably everyone save for not Shax. Everyone than, say, Saladin. Like, Saladin is the only one who I'm not sure if he's older than. They're probably around the same age, if nothing else. And Saladin was, like, one of the OG, like, Lightborn. So, take that for what you will. If anything, it just kind of shows him for what he is. An old man, an old con artist. But anyways.
Well, he's still a con artist, but he's conning other people now, and he's working with his friends more.
That's true. That's true. And he's not happily married, but has a happy girlfriend in Eris, which, hey, that's
Relationship type thing going on.
relationship with Eris, which, hey, good for him. Every dog has his day, I guess. But anyways, I mean, kind of where we are with Destiny. I mean, it's a big send-off party, and it's also kind of a sad thing. I'm gonna take this moment to kind of go over a bit more of Marathon. You're probably thinking, why am I bringing this into this? Here, follow me here, yeah. The question of why did Destiny come? Why did Destiny have to end for Marathon's sake? That's kind of the big question I think everyone's kind of still asking, even after all of this. And I won't say I have the answer, but I think I have an interpretation, if y'all hear me out. And that kind of comes down to the fact that, ultimately, I think, as we're all kind of suspecting, Sony has just had it with Bungie. They overpaid like hell, and now every time they have to go to their investors, they have to strike down Bungie's worth, and I'm pretty sure that sits very foul in the mouth of them and their investors. And so now they're just done. They're no longer wanting to give Bungie any more money because, they've already spent so much and have been burned on it. Granted, that was by their own stupidity, but, well, they can't admit that, now can they? Another angle we have to consider is the fact that a lot of people have been mentioning, especially news pundits, that Sony right now is a lot more conservative than they used to be. They're very concerned about the landscape of MMOs right now, or live services in general, mostly due to the fact that everyone they've put out recently has crashed and burned spectacularly. Concord, anybody? And because of that, in their eyes, they probably see Destiny as just another potential Concord waiting to happen, just another potential loss. Now, you're probably sitting there angrily thinking, that's not true. Destiny would never become a Concord because there's a lot more of a fanfare for it and people actually want it. You're not wrong. But again, this is what Sony thinks. In the eyes of a conservative financial bro, so to speak, not me, but them probably, it is more a case of dollars and cents. Concord was a live service, Concord failed. Destiny 3 would be a live service, it may also fail. So you might be thinking, well then, why invest in Marathon? Marathon is pretty much a live service. It's pretty much Destiny in that respect. Not in the terms of scope, but in terms of what it is. It's a live service. Different in terms of not being, open world shooter game like Bungie is, or Destiny is, but an extraction shooter, sure, but still in live service. Again, true. But you gotta remember, Marathon is probably a lot cheaper to maintain on a dollars and cents basis than Destiny ever was. If you've been following Destiny and Marathon for Destiny and Bungie for a while, you will know that Destiny is famous for having a high burn rate within Bungie. Now, burn rate is basically just a financial term for how fast does the money go out as much as it comes in, and Bungie confessed a lot, especially when legally pressed when they were looking for buyers, that Bungie or Destiny has a very high burn rate. Money comes in as fast as it comes out. Destiny, or Bungie in general, has a high burn rate. And that's actually one of the reasons why Xbox confesses that they passed up on them when they were looking to possibly buy them. That's why they ultimately ended up with Sony. And when you put that into perspective, it makes sense possibly why they want to invest in Marathon. Marathon, on paper, probably takes a lot less to run because ultimately it's an extraction shooter. I mean, compare that to the scale that Destiny operates on. What do you have to operate on an extraction shooter? The things to extract, maybe a bit more story, maybe a new character type every now and then.
On your way, guys.
Which, on paper, seems like a lot, but you gotta remember, beyond the character type, that's pretty much everything they were already doing for Destiny. But there's one thing that they don't have to do a lot of that Destiny had, which is voice work. VAs are expensive. And ultimately, there's no real audio that came with Season 2 of Marathon, which I admit I have been playing, compared to Destiny. Destiny had a lot of VA work done every single season for the seasonal content. A lot of voice work went into Destiny. Whereas with Marathon, beyond like one or two collectibles at the end of their tracks that have maybe a bit of voice lines, they don't have to do any VA recording. So no VA recording, so they don't have to pay the VAs. They don't have to do any post-audio work for the VAs, so no post-production work, which is also costly. No time taken to actually put that VA work in, which is also costly. Like, that's one big cost that they can just strike from the books. Mostly, if not entirely, in some cases. And again, that's a massive oversimplification, but on paper, extraction shooters like Marathon are just cheaper to run than the scale of something that Destiny is. Which, again, when you're dealing with a very conservative company like Sony currently is, seems like the safe bet. I say on paper because, well, I don't know if you've been paying attention, but the Summer Games Fest, as well as Sony's own State of Play, were flooded with when we getting D3, when we getting D3. And of course, there's the petition, which has reached 300,000 plus in terms of confirmed signatures, which, I mean, those don't change the world, maybe, but if they say something for 300,000 plus people to sign and confirm a petition, says something. So, I don't know, right? At this point, Sony has got to be sitting there realizing that this is going to be a thing. Who knows? Maybe they might be sitting there thinking, give it a few weeks and it'll all die out and people will stop caring about Destiny.
It won't.
I don't think. It won't. I think that's a completely asinine decision if that's the mindset of Sony. But then again, asinine decisions have been kind of their apropos as of late, have they not? Again, Concord, anybody. So, I don't know, honestly. What I will wager, as a gambling man, is that the last earnings call that Sony had, Marathon did come up. Now you gotta remember, Marathon was brought up all prior to, and all of this earnings call talk happened prior to the announcement of Destiny's shutdown, the permanent closure of the game going forward, more or less, and of course the mass reports of layoffs at Bungie. Presumably the entirety of the Destiny team, because again, now that Destiny is no longer needing updates, why keep them around? Again, that's very cruel to do, but such is Sony. I would wager, between all of the PR, the bad PR that is, as well as all of the demand for D3 that has come out of this effectively announce of end of service, and I would watch the next Sony earnings call if I were you. Watch for an investor that asks about the Destiny IP. Because even if Destiny 3 exactly doesn't come up in the earnings call, I would be surprised if one or two investors didn't float the question to the executives, are there plans for the Destiny IP moving forward in general? Because again, this has been a massive turnout. 160,000 concurrent players for the last 24 hours, and again, who knows how many today, says a lot. Plus, there's the signatures, and like I said, all of this talk of D3. I mean, for pity's sake, like I said, they even bombed the chat of the game, or almost said Game Awards, of the Summer Games Fest for it.
Yes, Summer's Game Fest and State of Play.
Yeah, State of Play, which again I understand, but even Summer Games Fest, like Keeley, for all his faults, whatever those may be, I don't really fault the man for much, but, you know, Jeff Keighley, love or hate him, the point is, even his show did not get spared the wrath of the angry Destiny fans. So, you know, there's definitely a lot of waves in the industry, and, I mean, heck, look up Destiny and you'll find pundits that normally don't even talk about Destiny going on about how all of this has got to say something. So, Sony has definitely heard the outcry. Whether they care or not, we will just have to wait and see. But like I said, watch the next Sony earnings call if I were you. Watch their next earnings call. Watch if someone brings up the Sony or Destiny IP. Because I think Paul Tassi said it best. Regardless of when a D3 happens, which I hope will happen, I think it will, eventually. 5, 10, 15 years down the line, whatever. It's too big an IP to not have a sequel, eventually. But to do nothing with the IP even in the short term? I mean, come on. There's asinine decision-making, and then there's just plain dumb. Like, there's got to be at least one person in the room who thinks, hold on a minute, we should at least try to do something with the IP beyond the mobile app, which, mind you, is technically a game owned by NetEase. They're the only thing Sony can claim is that they're technically licensing the IP to NetEase and getting royalty fees. Like, most of that fees are going to NetEase. So, you know, there's got to be at least one person in the room who thinks, hold on a minute, we got to do something with this IP. Even if only just in the short term. So watch for that, watch for that. Anyways, we're approaching 20 minutes, so that will be, I think, where we end it. Sun's going down in game, which is a perfect end point for all of this. Justin's, I've not been keeping track of
I've kind of started off by going around to all the different vendors, showing stuff, and kind of just showing a few things here and there.
Yes, yes.
So
Which
some
is
of
fair.
the behind the scenes stuff, like the tower, for example, like the
True,
OG
true. And
tower.
if fair enough, fair enough. Oh yeah, the OG tower's getting fixed, guys. Took the literal
Yes.
end of the world, but it happened.
Yes.
Uh, there's our Aeonian friend here. Uh, and also, final note: if you play Destiny, be it on PC, be it on Steam or console or whatever you play Destiny on, show up, mate. Show up. Represent. Keep the number going up. Even if we don't reach that 200,000 or 300,000 of Lightfall, make the number go up. I mean, I hear Astrocross has offered to lick the rear ends of everyone if we reach 200,000. So I don't know about you, but that would be fun to cash in on, see how he responds.
See, I'll weigh in on my point for this. No matter what, Destiny fan, Bungie fan, not a Bungie fan, not a Destiny fan, does not matter. Even if you are not so much of a fan of where Bungie has decided to go and put their resources towards, everyone's a fan of something. And right now, if you are a fan of Destiny, then just show your love for this game. This game is not being shut down entirely. It's not being taken away. It's going to be put like Destiny 1.
It's
That
maintenance.
means, yeah, it's going to be put into a maintenance mode. But that means you are still going to be able to play. And if anything, it means technically now there's as much content as the game's going to theoretically going to be able to get. Because let's be honest here, the biggest thing that Destiny suffered from was constantly needing to go and balance out how much content was actually in the game. Well, we're now
Subjective
in a
opinion.
state. What?
I would say it's a subjective opinion, but fair enough.
Fair enough. But needless to say, right now, you can go and at the very least go to all the vendors and get yourself pretty much all of the different things that were given out over the years. You can go around, kind of just explore the different things, and even though most of the things, if not a lot, are pretty much closed off now in Destiny and left in that limbo state of, okay, well, it's a cliffhanger, it's still story there for you to enjoy if you haven't enjoyed it yet. Now is a good time for people to get on, go play those games, and if you really wanted to, probably go try to do some raids with people because I'd be 100% willing to bet people are willing to help anyone out with doing raids right now.
Oh yeah, raids are going to be the big thing for the moments of triumph. They're bringing back all the oldies. They're bringing back Callus. They're bringing back all the old ones. So there's definitely going to be a run on raids at the moment.
Yes. So, needless to say, just show your support for the game you love. And if you love Destiny, show your support.
Yeah, show your support. Send a message. I mean, people often say in this industry, vote with your wallet, right? And usually that's used in terms of don't do anything. Don't spend, don't vote, don't do anything. But this is one of the few times in gaming history I would recommend, nay, I would implore you to do the opposite. Show up, throw money at Destiny, make Sony see the point, because nothing says this is the wrong decision than basically putting the bad investment in front of the good investment. So, yeah, vote with your wallet, vote with your time, vote with your presence. If you don't throw money, if you don't
If
want
you've
to do
already
that,
even paid
just
for
show
everything you
up.
can on Destiny, just show up.
Just show up. Just show up. Keep those numbers high for as long as possible. And yeah, I can't think of any better way to give Sony the middle finger, so to speak, than to do that. So, from all of us here at the tower, from me, from Justin, from all the cabal, and I don't know, Neonut or whatever he calls himself over down there, the Ionian,
Iranians.
Ionians, Ionians. Uh, goodbye, good luck, and I'll see you all Starside, guys.
Happy
Thanks for
trails.
thanks for 12 years, and maybe we'll get more. Here's hoping.